This is the day you have trained for, the day you have studied for. Utilize your superior skills, your superior intelligence.
Sit down, rodent!
Sarah, baby? Oh, you were one fly.
Don't make me hurt you.
Learn to defeat your ruthless enemy, Steve of Hackensack.
Brian, you're gonna get roofed.
Shut up, quadruped.
Sega Dreamcast.
Oh yeah, I'm feeling the love.
You feel the glove. But what's your name?
Gary Payton, but they call me the glove.
How you feeling tonight?
Yo, I'm feeling the love.
Feel the love, glove.
Yo, Sonic! Man, stay off the light speed.
My bad.
Sonic Adventure on Sega Dreamcast. It's thinking.
We got her!
Hi, Randy.
Well, hello.
It's thinking.
I'm not done yet!
Hey everybody, welcome back to another video game discussion. Today we'll be talking about the 20th anniversary of the Sega Dreamcast. It came out September 9th, 1999. I was 6 to 7 years old when this came out. I didn't know much about the Sega Dreamcast other than, oh my god, there's a Sonic game on this console. It's by Sega, and it's fucking fun. Like, that's kind of all I mainly knew at the start of the Sega Dreamcast. So, what I really knew besides that was, I remember seeing, like, commercials, and it's probably the same one that everyone's seen, like, tons of times about the Sega Dreamcast, and any retrospective or any historian type of, video or facts about the Dreamcast or anything like that. There's a commercial that a bunch of Sega-like characters are in the Dreamcast itself, and they're partying out, and Sonic is like doing his light-speed DJ mixing shit, right? And then you see a bunch of gameplay from like Sonic Adventure and a bunch of other games. I've seen that commercial tons of times. And oh, by the way, I always thought that kid that was like looking inside the Dreamcast, I thought it was like a younger version of Chris Benoit for some fucking reason. I mean, if you know who wrestling like perspective, it just does. It always does to me. So, anyways, besides that, I mean, like, so the Dreamcast itself, I didn't own a Dreamcast. I didn't really do much with Dreamcast. So this is my experience with the 20 years of a Dreamcast until I got my Dreamcast. Okay. So, my very first experience other than that, just knowing what Sonic is and what the hell Sonic Adventure looks so fun on a Dreamcast and that commercial, I would see it like from time to time on the commercial about like from wrestling. I didn't own it ever, and I never really had it. So, it was the only way I was able to play it. And I can still remember this perspectively clear. My family would go to Sam's Club. And we were members of Sam's Club, like back in the day. We still are, actually, technically, but we would still go to Sam's Club, because the nearest one was like 10 minutes away or so. I don't know. To me, that was far away when I was young. And the only reason I wanted to go was to play the Sega Dreamcast. So they had 3 setups. I want to say kiosks, they're not kiosks, just setups. And the way that Sam's Club had it, they had it in a square shape, in like shelves you see like at a retail store. I would say GameStop, for example, like their type of shelves, but in a square. I thought it was pretty cool. I never seen anything like that. So to be honest, I still haven't seen anything like that. It's like a cage for the consoles. So there's a Nintendo 64 playing Pokemon Stadium. Loved Pokemon Stadium. Let's say that. There was a PlayStation 1 playing Spyro, I believe it was 2. I think I played a little bit of Spyro 2, just like the first couple levels. I believe it was Spyro 1. I don't remember, really. I played both games. I don't really remember it. That part is a little fuzzy. And of course, by the way, there's another 64. I was playing Super Mario 64, so I don't know why, but it was. And then there was the main Sega Dreamcast. So, I remember for sure that it was always in the corner, and that's always where I would have been. My mom and dad would just let me in the corner and be like, okay, he's going to play that video game, whatever, and they start shopping, and I would just be playing the Sega Dreamcast or 64 or PlayStation. Even though I didn't really care about playing this PlayStation because I already have one at home. And 64, I think I was getting one or something. I don't remember. But I know I didn't own Pokemon Stadium yet. So that's for sure. So anyways, Sonic Adventure. I was playing it there, and it was like a revolutionized like time frame. So of course I gravitated towards more, Pokemon Stadium and Sonic Adventure. Not really Super Mario 64 or Spyro 1 or 2, whatever it was, I can't remember. And so, I already played them like a bunch of times. So the Dreamcast, it was on the biggest TV, which of course was a big, gigantic, like living room size CRT TVs, and it, you would just like sit there, play the Sega Dreamcast while people just shop and stuff, or 64 or anything like that. And I would be doing that like non-stop. Now I cannot remember if this was the full game or it was a demo in the Dreamcast or anything like that. It probably was a full game, but because I can slightly remember in one part where they moved the Dreamcast over later on that I was at not Station Square, Lost Forest or something like that, the jungle, I can't remember right now. And I was just like playing it, and I remember watching people play it, and then at some point the Dreamcast was kind of gone for me. I seen Dreamcast games here and there, so more experiences with the Dreamcast. I don't really remember seeing Dreamcast games as much in the Sans Club. I don't at all. I remember, to be honest, this. Now that's what I call music volume 40 or some shit type of music, volume 1, which had Spice Girls on it, just to let you know how old that shit is, but still. And then of course Britney Spears and stuff like that, shit like that. And then that's it. I don't remember Dreamcast games. So, and then later, I don't remember how much later on, but I remember when I went to Shopco, when Shopco was still around. I know they barely went out of business. I know this. It was like a year ago. Crazy to think that too. Shopco, this is to let you know. I went to my nearest Shopco, which I think was in West Valley, in Utah, and I remember going to the section of video games. Of course, they had a video game section. When they did, because Shopco didn't always have one anymore. So I'll just say that. So I would go to the video game section to see what the hell was being played. I remember games like this time. I for sure remember playing Crash Team Racing, Tekken 3, and then there was another Dreamcast. This time they were playing Street Fighter Alpha 3, and I was like, holy shit! So I played a little bit of Street Fighter Alpha 3, and then that's kind of all I remember. I remember seeing the Spyro. Was it Spyro? No, it was a Crash Team Racing, Crash Bandicoot 1 and 2 or whatever it was, combo pack, whatever it was. And then a few random Dreamcast games. I remember seeing Jet Set Radio and Choo Choo Rocket and of course Street Fighter Alpha 3, but I didn't really play them. Was it Alpha 3 or the Third Strike? But you know what I mean, okay? So I remember just seeing them. And I don't remember really much. I kind of vaguely remember the aisle I was in on Shopco, and that was kind of realistically it. So I don't really remember much. I just remember playing Street Fighter. Again, I don't remember if it's Alpha or whatever, Street Fighter Alpha 3 or Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. I don't know. On the Dreamcast that day. I know I went to that exact same Shopco a few more other times, seeing wrestling and I think Super Mario 64 and a couple other games I can't not remember. So, all right. Now, a little fast forward. I don't know how much. I'm going to say maybe 2-3 years max. I don't know. To be honest, one of my best friends at the time, and actually, to be honest, okay, here's another little side note. I was actually talking to him about not about this, but I was actually talking to him literally a few days ago, to be honest, about playing Gears of War 5, by the way. I'm playing Gears of War 5 as we speak. Not playing. It's just on my screen as of right now. So, I'm talking to him, and it makes me think of those good old memories where he had consoles I didn't have, or I had a console he didn't have. So, during that time, I had a Nintendo 64, PlayStation, and a GameCube. And an Xbox. Yeah, and an Xbox. I think that was pretty much it. An Xbox. I think at the time, that was all I had for gaming at my house. For sure, other than like Game Boy Color. Yeah, other than Game Boy Color. So, these are all the games together. I don't know if I had this or that before or whatever, but the game systems I remember he had a PlayStation 2, he had a Sega Genesis, he had a Sega Dreamcast, and of course he had a Sega CD. So you can kind of see how I played Sonic the Hedgehog 2 first. I didn't really have a Genesis. I played it at his house a lot. So whenever I wanted to play a game that he had, of course we'd go over to his house, or a game I had, I would go over to my house, vice versa. So we had like consoles we didn't really have from each other. So, and as for a fact, I remember one day, and I do not remember asking my dad or my mom. So we're playing a Sega Dreamcast. Oh, by the way, he had like a PlayStation 1. I had a PlayStation 1. Did I say I don't know, but yeah, he had a PlayStation 1, and he also got 2. We were playing like Star Wars, that stupid fighting game on the PlayStation 1, and we were playing like Blasto, which is a game I actually wanted for a very long time, and I got like 2 years ago on eBay for like 20. So I was like, all right. Anyways, side note. We were playing games like Sonic Adventure, a motorcycle game on the Dreamcast, Sega Bass Fishing with the rod. To be honest, with the rod. By the way, that was my only experience with the rod, the fishing rod, for about, I don't know, 15 years or something. I do not remember. It's been so fucking long. So we went, and this is actually another experience. My very first time going to, and I work there now, which, yes, you can dislike this video for that. It's okay. I know a lot of people hate this place or love it. And I know about the stocks plummeting and how we might die or fail one day. I get this, okay? My very first time visiting a GameStop. My very first time was visiting a GameStop with my friend Emilio. We went with his. Okay, I'm just gonna be blunt about it. Okay, Emilio, if you watch this, I'm just gonna be blunt about it because I just okay. His mom's like boyfriend. And I'm not gonna lie, she had a few and girlfriends too. So again, I was a kid. I didn't know shit. Like this is normal to me. I don't know why it was, but it was. Now growing up, I was like, okay, cool. I can understand it now. Me being like 26 years old right now, I understand this completely. There's nothing wrong about it, so I'm just gonna say that right now. Anyways, we went with one of her boyfriends, whatever. You know what I mean. We went to the GameStop with him and I think the mom. I can't remember exactly, but me and Emilio, we went directly to the Sega Genesis section. And I remember seeing Sonic and Knuckles, like Tasmanian Devil, you know, like all those types of games that you would remember seeing. Well, you would remember. I would remember seeing. I can't remember all of them though. And it was on a rack, a rack that GameStop uses to this day. A rack that, like, you know, you put cases on, not on the wall, like on a rack, like a gondola. So I remember that. It was like. It was just a bunch of random games thrown in there, and it was that, right? And I remember what he bought. He bought, I think, for sure, buying one game. I can't say three, because I feel like there was a third, but I can't remember the other one. So, he bought, for sure, he bought Crazy Taxi. I'm like, holy shit, we played Crazy Taxi for a fucking good long minute. Of course, he was better than me in Crazy Taxi. I'll give him that. He still is, probably. Who knows? And then we were playing SNK versus SNK versus Capcom Millennium Fight 2000 or whatever it was, 2001, 2001, whatever, 1 or 2, and we had fun with playing that, and I was fucking winning. And by the way, I just want to clearly say, and yes, I know he's announced as Super Smash Bros. Ultimate character, the SNK Fighter Pass 4th character. I was playing against Terry Bogard in that game. So I just want to say I wasn't good because I was a fucking 8-year-old or whatever I was. But like 10 maybe years old kid. I don't fucking know. But regardlessly, I was fucking Terry Bogard. And I was actually Ken. And I did not know. There's 100%. I did not know that was a legendary rivalry rivalry throughout the years. I did not know this. I just liked them because they had the color red. If you don't know, I love the color red. It was a color I've always liked. Red and black. Okay? I don't know, okay? It was just something I always liked. So who knew that Ken and Terry Bogard would have been like rivals, technically, for a lot of fans? I didn't know that. So, of course, if he played Ryu, I played Ken, vice versa. I don't remember who really picked when I played Terry Bogard. It was like a guy wearing like a black jacket or something. I don't remember. But, yeah, we were playing that. And then the third game, I literally cannot remember. I think it was like literally a football game or something. So probably like Madden or some shit like that. So, I don't know. Anyway, so other than that, we were playing his Dreamcast for a while. And I think this is the point where I don't know really what happened. So, at some point, he got rid of his Sega Genesis, approved by his mom, and sold it to another friend of ours, Giovanni, which I went over to his house. So I really want to play that fucking Genesis, which was literally, we were all in the same block. We were all in the same street. We were all fucking neighbors. That's how close we were. So, I wanted to play the hottest game he had, and the hottest game at the time, not gonna lie, it was, NBA Jam. NBA Jam, not the tournament edition, that one, just NBA Jam. But back to Dreamcast. So that was the only experience I had with the Dreamcast for like me and him playing it. And then sometime later, one of my mom's best friend invited us over to his house, or her house, sorry, and he had a Genesis. He had a Dreamcast and a GameCube. I was like, oh, and a 64. I was like, whoa. So he was playing games like Donkey Kong 64, Sonic Adventure, of course, and this is where I learned in 2000. It was 2001 for sure, because I actually still remember seeing the commercials about it on TV, and I still own the magazine that actually tells me about it. Sonic Adventure 2 was on the horizon, and he had it. And I was like, holy shit, he has it? And I didn't play it, I watched him. I just watched him play it. And I was like, holy shit, this is pretty cool. And I'm fucking like, a 10, 11-year-old kid. I don't fucking remember right now. And he's like literally like I don't know, 15 to 17-year-old, a teenager playing it. And I'm just watching him play Sonic Adventure 2. And I didn't play Sonic Adventure 2 until, I think, a year later. Now, I know a year later or whatever it was, it came out on the GameCube. I get that. But I did play it on a Sonic Adventure 2 on the Dreamcast. I played it at like, I think it was, to be honest, I think it was Circuit City. I played Sonic Adventure 2 on a kiosk. So, I believe Smash Brothers was already out on the GameCube. Like, this is time like the Dreamcast is dead, basically, or dying, or whatever it is. And Smash Bros. On Melee was on the GameCube as a kiosk. It was that, and I don't remember what the other freaking thing was for PlayStation and Xbox. I don't know, but I wanted to play Sonic Adventure 2. It looked so much fun, and it was just fun. Again, and then that's kind of where I like Sonic Adventure 2. Always felt like this mysterious game I could never own on the Dreamcast because I don't have a Dreamcast. So. Back to the story, going back to his house, I only remember him playing 2 games on the Dreamcast. It was Sonic Adventure 1, 2, 3 games. Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, and, you can laugh, the ECW video game on the Dreamcast, I believe. It was either that or, like, WWF, whatever the Dreamcast WWF game was. I think it was Royal Rumble? Yeah, Royal Rumble, duh. That Royal Rumble, there we go. And that was it. I don't remember seeing anything else Sonic Adventure or Dreamcast for a while. And I mean for a while, other than like, Sonic Adventure DX Director's Cut and Sonic Adventure 2 on the GameCube, other than that. So, now you're probably wondering about yourself, where the hell do you get a fucking Dreamcast? Okay. Now, this is now 100%, I do not know how many years later. I don't even know when exact year I bought it. So, I went with my dad. This was something I clearly remember. I was with my dad, so this has to be when I was still before 15 years old. I'm going to say, just to throw it out there in my memory, I want to say I was either 14, 13 or so years old. when I got my Sega Dreamcast. So, you could say I was hitting puberty with the Dreamcast. So, I was playing my Sega Dreamcast. Now this is how I got it. I went to the swap meet. Oh, that legendary swap meet I've talked about so many times on my pickups video, which you should go watch. My pickups videos. And by the way, I haven't uploaded the last 2 months because I haven't edited them. I've actually been kind of lazy about it and tired a lot, so I'll say that. Go check them out, for real. I talk about the swap meet a lot. Like, literally. Or not. I haven't been there for a minute right now, but still. I went to the swap meet, and I do remember how much I was buying it. And I do remember the seller. This is how much I remember the Dreamcast. Like, it was my thing. It was my thing. I really had to get this legendary console. Okay? This legendary console. I went to a seller. I think she was on the third row. The third row. And second or third row, it was her and her son. And she spoke Spanish, so she was clearly Hispanic. I don't know if she was Mexican or Honduran or Salvadorian or Puerto Rican or anything like that. So, I remember I clearly asked, how much is that Sega Dreamcast? And I'm clearly like, I'm a teen. I'm still thinking like a kid in a way, to be honest. And she said 40. She said 40. And my dad was like, do you really want to buy a Dreamcast? And I'm like, yeah, I really want to buy this Dreamcast. And it was the time where I was getting paid in ones and like fives randomly for like chores and stuff. So I saved up money, not just to get the Dreamcast, just to save up money just to get a video game or something, right? That's just what I did before and back in the day. I kind of do that still now. So I literally wanted to tell my dad I want to buy the Sega Dreamcast, and I remember he spoke to her. I don't know about what. For sure, it was for sure to drop the price down, because it's not him buying it. It's me, a 13 or whatever year old kid trying to buy this Sega Dreamcast that's clearly pre-owned. Don't even know if it works. I was gambling because I really wanted that Dreamcast. So my dad talked her down to 30, and she said yeah. So I saved $10, and I got myself my Sega Dreamcast. Sorry, I got a little emotional thinking about my dad. So getting my Sega Dreamcast, I only had 2 video games. It was NBA 2K, and it was WWF Royal Rumble. I didn't have Sonic Adventure yet. Did not have Sonic Adventure at all. So, I played those 2 games non-stop because, that's all I had for the Dreamcast, and me just playing NBA 2K. To be honest, I'm not into basketball. I really ain't. I only played 3 main basketball games. It was NBA Jam, okay? It was fucking NBA Jam, Street Volume, and then another one was NBA Street Volume 2. A lot on the Xbox, to say that. I want Street Volume 3, still, GameCube. And NBA 2K. The first original 2K, not 2K 19, 18, fucking 25, nothing like that. Just 2K, where Sega still has the rights to it, or even had the rights or whatever to it. I don't fucking know. So, sorry, I was messing around with my Xbox for a second. So, I was playing that shit nonstop, and then my dad noticed I was like, not getting bored with it. It's just like, I only have 2 games, Dad, and I think he could see how excited I was to play this Dreamcast. That's all I was playing. I wasn't playing my 64. I wasn't playing my PlayStation. I wasn't playing my Game Boy. Well, sort of. I was playing Pokemon Red a lot, but batteries. But I was playing that Dreamcast a lot. So my dad bought me the legendary video game I wanted for the Sega Dreamcast for a very, very long time. Thank you, Dad. He bought me Sonic Adventure on the Sega Dreamcast. And he also threw in a VMU unit. That is basically the memory cards that go inside the controller, which of course that was revolutionary with the VMU like You know, you can see what you're playing and Tamagotchi like to feel, which I've actually never used because that thing was dead, to be honest. It was a pre-owned one. And I loved the Sega Dreamcast. I never really tried, I never experienced online with it. I see people on YouTube experiencing it. I tried to fucking connect it to the online, to be honest. But I had no idea what the fuck I was doing. I think I connected it to like my router, which is in my room at the time, and I connected to like the phone line, see what anything would do. And of course, it wasn't, you know, good enough, so it wasn't supporting the Dreamcast. It was too powerful or whatever, or you know, Dreamcast was outdated. And of course, I did actually get the web browser. I think it actually came with the Dreamcast, but you know, again, that was like, who fucking cares type of thing. So I was trying to mess with it, and of course, I didn't know much about the Dreamcast. It was a legendary console. I just really wanted to play it. So throughout the years, I wanted to get more games for the Dreamcast. So throughout the years, I eventually got like on my local Craigslist type of like website. I'll just say Craigslist to make it more easier. Craigslist, some like, you know, just somewhere I can find Sega Dreamcast games locally, right? So I did something my dad did a lot, and I just had to try it. I had the money for it. I had to try. I looked up the listing on Craigslist, and he had Sega Dreamcast games. Some random guy from like Sandy, again Utah, had a listing for Sega Dreamcast games. Or no, it was like Taylorsville. I don't know. To me, when I was a kid, everything's far away. I wanted to play some games on Sega Dreamcast. I was getting kind of bored with only playing 3 games after a while, you know. Going back to 64, my GameCube, of course. You know, it's just games. I had consoles, so he had Sonic Shuffle, he had Jet Set Radio, and he had Crazy Taxi. So you can kind of believe how fucking happy as fuck I was to get 3 great games. Well, Sonic Shuffle's not that great, but it was something, right? Great games to play on the Sega Dreamcast. And then from there, okay, so this is how I did it. By the way, if you're all curious about what I did, that my dad did a lot. He would lie where he lived. He would say I live in like downtown, even though this guy might live like in Taylorsville or whatever. I would say I was living in like Magna or something. I forget. I remember what I was saying. I said I'll meet you at the 7-Eleven here. I take the bus there. I was trying to be like really convincing, because of course I'm a kid, can't really drive yet, so I'm literally trying to be convincing. So I walked to my 7-Eleven. You can see this is a scumbag move. I'm sorry, but I was a kid desperate for video games. I go to my 7-Eleven. This actually was a time I did have a phone. I actually had a phone. It was like not a prepaid phone. It was like a phone from Sprint. I could still text and call. Like, that was it. Phone, like, the internet was not a thing yet, really, on the phones yet. It was just, if anyone, you know, back in the day, for like 2000, like, who knows what the fuck year I was in, 4, 5, I don't fucking know. Just trying to get, you know, Dreamcast games. So I told him, yeah, I'll meet you up at the 7-Eleven. It's at this address I barely even knew of. And then, so again, I was really dumb as a kid, I guess. I met him, I paid him, and he told me he really had fun a lot with Jet Set Radio. And in my mind, it's like, oh, okay. I took that as a recommendation. And, dude, even though I was getting 3 legendary video games, I didn't know which one to play first. And then I'm so happy he recommended me play Sonic Adventure, Jet Set Radio first. It was one of my favorite games of all time. I played that game non-stop, even though I was losing. I loved the music, I loved the cell shading, I loved a lot of it. Okay? So from there on out, I started trying to buy Sega Dreamcast games as I was getting older. Of course, I didn't have a job yet. I think I got a job till like after high school. I was trying to get money any way I can, from babysitting to doing laundry to like just doing chores in general, just trying to do some type of way. Even try doing YouTube just to get some cash, which again, yeah, I did buy games with my YouTube money, which when YouTube was actually really good at YouTube Apocalypse. Okay, the Apocalypse, I fucking hate that. I'm not gonna lie, that's really what killed this channel. I'm just gonna say that. I'm just here because it's still fun. Really, it is still fun. It's still a hobby for me. So, but I would love to get paid. Just to say that, I'm sorry, but it's the truth on that. I would love to still get paid something, because, you know, I get pennies now, like pennies. It's fucking embarrassing. I'm not ashamed to really say that, but still, regardless, if you want to donate, if you want to support this channel, by the way, I'll just say there'll be a link in the description below. Any way, shape, or form, you'll see it. So, back to the story. I wanted to start getting, Dreamcast games any way I can, so I started looking through eBay, something I heard is a legendary, like, trading website that you can buy anything off. I mean, like, almost anything. I was told so many times by, like, everyone in the world that you can fucking buy something on eBay, and I didn't know what the fuck it was. And then when I finally got on there, it was like this legendary site, and like I finally used it, and I think I bought, the very first thing I bought off eBay was Aladdin for the Super Nintendo, because, like, again, I didn't own anything, so I bought, like, Aladdin, and also, like, it was like a $7 game. It was like free shipping, whatever, and then it came, and it became one of my favorite games of all time, so I was like, I understand eBay now, so I think. So I was like, okay, just keep going for orders. So anyways, my Dreamcast collection now. This is now fast forwarding to now. In between that generation of me getting Jet Set Radio, Crazy Taxi, and Sonic Shuffle at that time on Craigslist just to go to my 7-Eleven just to go get the guy and give him his money so I can get the games, and he was telling me a great recommendation for Jet Set Radio, which is Jet Grind Radio. It became one of the best times for me. Dreamcast, Lily, I know, and everyone will say this, 100%, every single video I've ever heard would say, it was ahead of its time. I understand that. I never used the internet's function. It looked really fun. There were some things I wish I could connect to the internet. I like to play, and I know this can be done nowadays through, like, servers and hacking or modding or whatever, I don't know, something like that. With, like, playing, like, Choo Choo Rocket, and I think getting, like, the DLC for Sonic Adventure 2, because I really wanted to get that, and, stuff like that. Of course, I learned more things crazy about, like just typing of the dead. I'm like, what the fuck is typing of the dead? Like, there's a keyboard for the Dreamcast. You play with a game called House of the Dead, which I played and I do own, and I didn't know about it. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? It's like, it's basically that, but you're typing and it's building up your skills. And I think that would have been a really good video game technique for me to play when I was younger, because I would have been like God if I would play that game non-stop back then. I think it would really have taught me how to type. Not school, yeah, of course, supposed to teach you stuff anyways, but in a fun way. I think Type of the Dead would have been a really good way for me to learn. So, again, then I started learning about these other weird-ass games I was kind of obsessed with that I liked, and they looked fun to me, like Saba de Amigo, and I learned about Seaman, and I was like, what the fuck is that? And I was like, I don't really want to Google that, so I'll just say that. So, it was just like looking up what other Sega Dreamcast games. So I looked up like top 10 Sega Dreamcast games, Sega Dreamcast games in general, just like trying to get idea of what good Sega Dreamcast games there were. And then like I got like random Sega Dreamcast games from the Swami, pawn shops, Craigslist, literally all types of ways, eBay including so trading, game stores, just in general. I'm still finding games I've never heard of on the Sega Dreamcast. I think I just got a game like a while ago called Slave Zero or something like that, and it's a fun like shooter game. It's like Contra in a way. Well, twin stick shooter, but this games I learned from like YouTube, like Time Stalkers. I was like, what the fuck is Time Stalkers? And of course I didn't know those other games like South Park, Chef's Love Shack and shit. I'm looking at a lot of my games right now, and of course I didn't even know about some of the legendary fighting games on there, like Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Like, I didn't really know much about that type of stuff. So the Dreamcast really just kind of like opened my eyes to how much it was cooking. It was really going. So it was revolutionary for me, for real. The Dreamcast, like, it's thinking. Like that slogan, I still remember it to this day. It never left my memory. And there's like, there's some things like that. It's never gonna leave my memory because I love the Sega Dreamcast. I love this, Sega during the Saturn era, which I didn't know much about the Saturn anyways. I just knew it was a thing. So yeah, like that. My experience with a lot of the games. Again, shit. Of course, we all know a bunch of Sega Dreamcast games, so I'm not going to name you every single one. I was going to name you a couple that, again, I think personally you should be playing on the Sega Dreamcast. A lot of these games never even got ported off the Dreamcast, by the way. And like, there's just some games, it's just fun on the Dreamcast, to be honest, even though that sounds really shallow and weird to say, but like Sonic Adventure on Dreamcast and GameCube, there's some differences, but it feels more natural on Dreamcast, and GameCube feels more like modern, trying to make an arcade, even though it's already arcade on the Dreamcast. It's just certain ways to really play it. So again, I'm going to say Sonic Adventure, Jet Grind Radio, Skies of Arcadia, ooh, that's a good one for the GameCube too, just going to say that right now. Power Stone 1 and 2. By the way, that was only ported on the PSP and it sucked. Play the Dreamcast versions, guys. Grandia 2, Crazy Taxi 2, Daytona USA, The House of the Dead 2, Spawn and the like Demon's Hand or whatever it was called. Project Justice, Soul Calibur 2. Holy shit, or 2. 1. Sorry, I'm thinking about 2. I played 2 more on the GameCube because of Link. It was just revolutionary, like for real. Marvel vs. Capcom, Saba de Amigo, Carrier, that's a horror game. I try to be like Resident Evil, but you know. Okay, that was a game. Slave Zero, Expendable, fucking Blue Stinger, let's go on. But majority of those are a lot of the games I not just own, but a lot of games you should really check out on the Sega Dreamcast. Again, it's been 20 years since the Sega Dreamcast has launched. My name's been Exceeding Shadow. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe, leave a comment below, and don't forget to smash that bell button and get notified of any future videos I upload or stream. And of course, when you support the channel, there'll be a link in the description below for streamlabs.com/Exceeding Shadow. And before we go, again, happy anniversary, happy birthday to the Sega Dreamcast from September 9th of 1999. For real, Sega Dreamcast is literally one of my top 5 gaming consoles of all time. And hopefully this story, my retrospective, my history about the Dreamcast kind of like inspired you to talk about it. Maybe like think about where were you during the time of the Dreamcast. If you were born after September 9th of 1999, I understand you might not know anything about the Dreamcast. Other than it was a legendary system that a lot of people liked for some reason. You don't understand why, because you're playing Minecraft. No. Or Fortnite. But, you know, whatever. Yeah, you know. It's just basically... You'll see how it is when you're 25 years old. I don't know. You were probably... Let's say you were born in 2005. And let's say you're right now... Let's see. 2005 to 2010, so that's 5 years, and then another 5, so that's 10, and now we're at 19, so you are literally 14 years old. So come back in 10 more years. In 2005, the GameCube, PS2, and Xbox Game Boy Advance, and the announcement of this, I believe the announcement, maybe release of this Nintendo DS was on the horizon, and you're gonna be like, that is something that I grew up with and all that type of stuff. That was my pre-teen years. For you, that might be literally your baby years. Just to kind of think of it like that. So, once again, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy, and I'll see you guys all for another video, okay? Once again, bye! Exceeding Shadow!